Hello everyone and welcome to the last day of APM revision revolution. Yesterday we started with a mock and we finished the section A का जो हमने पार्ट किया था उसमें से पहला क्वेश्चन हम कर चुके हैं. उसके बाद सेक्शन B का फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन का A पार्ट हम लोग ने किया. So now we are going to proceed with the mock without wasting any further time. This was the question. Glenn Associates, GA. Part A is done for 5 marks, a BA. Using only the information provided, produce a range of non-financial performance indicators under each of the following headings: competitiveness, resource utilization and quality. Now हम लोग ने A पार्ट में देखा कि नॉन फाइनेंशियल परफॉर्मेंस इंडिकेटर्स फॉर अ बिजनेस कितना इम्पॉर्टेंट है. बिकॉज पहले का ज़माना बहुत अलग था जहाँ पे लोगों को इतनी समझ नहीं थी, लोगों के पास इतना एजुकेशन नहीं था, जहाँ पे वो एक कंपनी में तभी इन्वेस्ट करते थे जब उनको प्रॉफिट नज़र आता था. बट नाउ द टाइम्स हैव चेंज्ड, पीपल हैव बीन एजुकेटेड एंड पीपल नो दैट बिजनेस में सिर्फ पैसा कमाना एक बात होता है, नाम कमाना भी दूसरी बात होता है. So it's very important for the businesses nowadays also to sort of undertake activities that will impress a section of investors. And a section of investors जो है वो बहुत ज़्यादा interested है in not just a profit making business but overall a package जो business environment को भी harm ना करे, जो business profit भी बनाए, जो business it's like good in all the aspects. So हम लोग वो काइंड ऑफ इन्वेस्टर्स को ग्रीन इन्वेस्टर्स बुलाते हैं. ग्रीन इन्वेस्टर्स आर दोज हु आर मोर इंटरेस्टेड इन knowing what the company is doing right rather than investing in a company which just is concerned about profit. So now, using only the information provided, provide a range of non-financial performance indicators under each of the following headings: for competitiveness, for resource utilization and for quality. These are the indicators. So now how can we study these indicators? For example, if I want to talk about the competitiveness of a business, that is the first category of it. I can talk about total client inquiries, मुझे कितना आया, and how many of the total client inquiries could I turn into contracts. So मुझे inquiry ऐसा नहीं है कि जो मुझे इंक्वायरी आता है मतलब मुझे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मिल गया. मैनी पीपल इंक्वायर एंड देन डोंट गिव यू द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. मुझे इंक्वायरी तो नया बिजनेस का आया 4230, उसमें से 3005 लोगों ने ही मुझे बिजनेस दिया. तो रिपीटेड बिजनेस लाइक रिपीटेड कस्टमर्स, मुझे इंक्वायरीज आया 1840, उसमें से 1510 पीपल गिव मी बिजनेस. तो एक बिज़नेस को इंक्वायरी कैसे टैकल करते हैं, इंक्वायरीज़ को कैसे अच्छे से उनको एक्सप्लेन करते हैं, उसके ऊपर भी मैटर करता है. आई वंस वांटेड टू बाय अ प्रोडक्ट, अ वेरी एक्सपेंसिव प्रोडक्ट, एंड 2 शॉप्स अवेलेबल थे मेरी एरिया में फॉर दैट प्रोडक्ट. अभी मैं कहीं से भी बाय करूँ, वो दोनों वो प्रोडक्ट के रीसेलर्स ही थे, तो मुझे तो कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता. बट ऐसे ही मतलब मैं एक शॉप में गई तो वहाँ का जो सेल्स पर्सन था, ही वॉज़ वेरी रूड. मतलब उसको क्या पता वो दिन पे ही वॉज़ नॉट लाइक इन अ वेरी गुड मूड. उसको ऐसे था कि अगर आपको चाहिए तो ले लो वरना मत ले लो, आप अगर लेना चाहते हो तो ही मैं दिखाऊँगा, नहीं लेना चाहते हो तो टाइम पास मत करो एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट. But the thing is that it's the duty of the salesperson to show the product to the customer when the customer demands for it. Irrespective of whether the customer is planning to buy it or not, I may just come in the shop to see a product and I have full right to see a product. इसलिए आपने शॉप खोला है, वरना आप तो ऑनलाइन बेचते थे, right? So I didn't like very much and I told myself, the other shop is just around the corner. थोड़ा सिर्फ ड्राइव करना पड़ेगा. So why not go to another shop? I don't want to buy from this shop because then it kind of spoils your mood also if you want to buy a very nice product and ये क्या ऐसे बात कर रहा है, like मुझे नहीं लेना है इससे प्रोडक्ट, उससे अच्छा तो मैं लूँ ही ना. Then I went to the other shop and that person was so enthusiastic and so friendly and he was like on it to explain all the features, कैसे होता है वैसे होता है ये वो, and I really liked his way of dealing. उसको first of all that question was the last question in his mind कि आपको लेना है ना तो ही बोलो वरना मैं नहीं दिखाऊंगा. That was the last question. He took his work as a challenge. ये कस्टमर मेरे पास आया है and in his mind he had कि इसको नहीं बाय करना है, मैं उसको कन्विंस करता हूँ कि आप मेरे से ले लो. So he was like using all those techniques and tactics and whatever. I really loved it. Even if the girls might know this, when you go to buy sarees, some people are very reluctant to show कि अगर आपको वो लेना है तो बोलो, फिर वो खोलना पड़ता है, फिर से वो बंद करके रखना पड़ता है and all that. And some people are like नहीं आपको नहीं लेना है तो भी चलेगा, पर आप देखो आप देखो आप देखो and then you also feel better. So जितने enquiries आते हैं, not necessarily that many products are sold. और जितने लोग दुकान में आते हैं, not necessarily that many sales are done. It's a completely different figure of enquiries and enquiries turned into contracts. So enquiries turned into contracts divided by total enquiries अगर आप करते हो, that will be your competitiveness, how competitive you are in the market. That's the first indicator. Now second indicator can be this. In 20x4, that is last year, the number of service contracts were 15,890. This year service contracts हमको मिला 18,890. That means there is a growth in service contracts. And whenever there is a growth in service contracts, you can measure the growth. So how will you measure the growth? 20x5 figure minus 20x4 figure divided by 20x4 figure, because we have to measure the growth into 100. So the growth for the number of service contracts is 18.9%. Similarly, for installations also you can measure the growth. This figure minus this figure divided by 8120. Because the growth is always divided by the previous year. So 9635 minus 8120 divided by 8120 into 100. So what is the growth? 18.67 or 18.7 for installations. So somewhere growth also decides your competitiveness. Competitiveness means what? How competitive you are in the market. So growth will also decide that competitiveness. So this is question 2. B, and of B this is first one, that is competitiveness. Competitiveness. Okay. The first thing that you will write in competitiveness is percentage of enquiries turned into contracts. Okay, so of new business, how many enquiries have turned into contracts? 3005 divided by 4230 into 100. That many inquiries have turned into contracts. So that is going to give you 71. And of the repeat business, one five 1510 divided by 1840. 1510 divided by 1840 into 100. That is going to give us 82.1%. So that is the number of inquiries turned into contract. We just don't have to find the numerical aspect of it and not write anything. We have to explain it further. So this indicates, because we don't want to confuse the examiner at any stage, we have to give him as much as information as possible, as much as information as much as we can give. So this indicates how competitive Glenn Associates is at winning new contracts. From both new business and existing customers. In particular, the percentage of new business is a useful indicator due to strategic objective of increasing the customer base. Then second indicator is increase in the number of service contracts as compared to last year. So increase in the number of contracts. Service contracts and installation. So for service contract, what is the increase as compared to the previous year? 18,890 minus 15,890. Divided by 15,890 into 100. So this will give us 18.9%, and for installations it is 9635 minus 8120. 9635 minus 20 divided by 8120 into 100. That is going to give how much? 18.7%. 7%. Okay. This gives an indication of growth in the business rather than simply considering growth in turnover, the breakdown between service and installation, contracts, provides management with information about which section of the business is more competitive. It is surprising that service business has increased at a greater rate than installations, as it is expected that new installations lead to an increase in service contracts thereafter. Glenn Associates should see the service percentage rise in future periods. Or may be incorrect in believing that service business automatically follows from an installation. So after installation only people will give you services. If at all separately, it will be very difficult. If you have installed for them, then they will ask to give you, or they will ask to provide you with the services. Second is resource utilization. How will you check resource utilization? Whatever resources you have currently in your business, are you utilizing the resources correctly? The total number of service call-outs, that is calls for services, are 14,320, and the number of engineers applied for service is 95. So 14,320 is the number of service call-outs and service engineers are 95. So it is 150.7 per engineer. That is the number of service call outs per engineer is 14,320 divided by 95. That is 150.7 per engineer. That is the resource utilization that we are talking about. Then this is the total engineer hours. So installation takes total 68,300 and service takes 213. Out of that, the chargeable time for engineers is for installation 62,830 and the total is 68,300. So the remaining is idle time. And for services 166,790 and the total is 213,750. So the total is idle time. So we can calculate a percentage of chargeable hours, like how much is total utilization out of the total engineer hours will give you an idea of resource utilization. So let's start with the number of service call outs per engineer. Okay. Number of service call outs per engineer is how much? 14,320 is the total call out hours divided by 95 service engineers, right? That will give you how much? $150.7 per engineer. This indicates the productivity of the service engineers. Productivity is an important aspect of cost control, as the salaries of the engineers will be fixed cost of the business. Okay. The more service call outs made by each engineer, will reduce the salary cost per call out and increase profit per call out. That is the first thing for number of call outs per engineer. The more call outs per engineer does, that means उसका पैसा वसूल हो रहा है, the salary that we are paying to the engineer. The next we have is percentage of chargeable hours to total hours. Okay, so that is what we are expected to find out. For installations, how much is the chargeable hours? 62,830. What is the total hours? 68,300 into 100. is 92. Service 166,790 divided by total was 213. That is 78. For this, what can we say? Chargeable hours to total hours, the remaining is idle. Again, this indicates the productivity of each type of engineer as above. The greater the productivity, of the engineers, the lower will be the cost per installation. And cost per service. Okay. Glenn Associates has a strategic objective to control cost in order to encourage sales without increasing prices. It is not possible to assess this completely, as no comparisons are available other than to suggest that control seems to be more tightly enforced on installations than on service. Given the need for emergency cover and to maintain flexibility, GA will need to accept some spare capacity and this may be greater in service part of the business. Care must be taken when setting standards in this area to ensure that over efficiency not impact quality. Okay. Second one. Now the third one. Quality. Quality can be checked by customer complaints. The lesser the complaints, the better the quality. So for quality, number of customer complaints is this divided by customer complaints for installation divided by total number of installations done in this year. Then number of customer complaints for service divided by total number of service contracts done this year in 20x5. So that will give you the customer complaints as a percentage of contracts. So let's do that first. Customer complaints as a percentage of contracts. For installations, it is 934 divided by total number of total customer contracts this year in 20x5, that is 9635 for installations into 100. So that will give you 9.7%. And for service contracts, how much is it? 1250 are the complaints divided by total number of contracts this year, 18,890 into 100 is going to give you how much? 6.6%. This shows the level of customer satisfaction with the work carried out and indicates the quality of the work of engineers. In the service industry, such as this, quality of both the product and the service provided is of vital importance in retaining and attracting customers. And the directors of Glen Associates recognize this as a part of their overall strategy. Okay. These measures can also be linked to repeat business and growth as measured in Installations have slightly lower growth, higher productivity, and higher complaints than service. The directors may need to prioritize these objectives as they appear to be in conflict. Also, one more thing about quality can be done is time between initial inquiry and installation is 5 days, and time to reach the client is 3.2 hours average. So I'm trying to reach the client out. Maybe I'm trying to reach via phone, or maybe I'm trying to reach via email. So till the time the customer picks up my call or replies to my email, the time to reach the client when I call them out is 3.2 hours on average. And once I decide that this is the person I want to place my order with, once I place the order with them, the placing of the order and the installation takes around 5 average days. So that also has to do with quality. Time to reach the client is 3.2 hours. Time between inquiry and installation is 5 days on average. Okay. Both these indicators are important factors as customers will assess Glen Associates not only on the quality of their product and of their engineers, but also on the speed of dealing with problems and getting a new installation in place. Again, as above, this ties in with the strategic objective of providing the highest quality of service. These indicators may also suffer if too much pressure is applied to resource utilization. Okay, so this completes your B part of the answer, that is using the different non-financial objectives. That was for 14 marks. Then C part. In the context of managing director's request, briefly explain the dimensions of performance and how the dimensions link to standards and targets. So this is that paragraph which addresses that. GAs, that is Glenn Associates Engineers, receive a performance related bonus which is currently based on the company's net profit. The managing director is also considering including non-financial indicators in the engineer's bonus scheme. The managing director has suggested using the Fitzgerald and Moon's building block model, which also mentioned on the course he attended, as a framework for this scheme. So we have to talk about the Fitzgerald and Moon's model. So this is a very theoretical requirement. So a lot of theory has to be written. Okay. So this is a C part of it. In theory papers, you have to write theory, right? You cannot write practical and keep talking. You have to write theory. Fitzgerald. And Moon's model highlights that performance dimensions need to cover two general areas. Results and determinants. Determinants are the factors that influence a company's results. The quality of Glenn Associates Engineers how efficiently they are used and the speed with which they can respond to customers' needs are all determinants that could all influence Glenn Associates' competitive and financial performance. However, the building block model highlights that the standards and targets against which performance is measured are important elements in developing performance measurement system. The standards the target level for the specific measures chosen for each dimension appropriate to an employee's performance. Employee must take ownership of the targets, so they need to be persuaded to accept the target and be motivated by the target. A key question for the MD here will be how to persuade the engineers to accept new targets which their bonus is based on. Targets must be set. Now you tell me, you cannot set any targets that you want, like unrealistic ones, just to show that you're so focused and all of that. Targets should always be achievable and realistic, and so, but it should not be very low also, that is easily achievable. It should be achievable and a little challenging. Okay, so targets must be achievable, and so challenge the employee without being viewed as impossible to achieve, and therefore demotivating. For example, if any measures are included about the number of callouts an engineer attends, this must be realistic and must also reflect that rushing to finish the job quickly could be detrimental to quality. Fitzgerald and Moon model highlights that achievement of standards should be supported by rewards and an important factor in this respect is controllability. For example, the engineers may not be able to control the time taken to reach a client. As such, the statistics currently reviewed may not be appropriate for using as the basis for engineers' bonus scheme. Finally, targets must be fair, while targets should be challenging. If the engineers end up obtaining lower bonuses under the proposed scheme, than they did under the old one. So as compared to the old one, if they get lesser bonus, they are likely to view this as unfair. An important consideration here could be whether it is only the engineers whose bonus scheme is being revised, or whether similar changes are being made to other areas of business. So this completes your part C of the question, that is Fitzgerald and Moon's model. It's complete theory 1. So before we move towards the next question, that is the last question of our mock, we'll take a break of 5 minutes. So that completes this question. Then the third question that we have is on Edwards Incorporated EI. So whenever we read the question, we'll first read it from the requirements. Required, calculate both the return on investment and residual income, that is ROI and RI, for the first year of trading of this investment. Explain whether the manager of TT is likely to invest in this project and whether the board of AI would agree with this decision. Calculate the economic value added EVA of this investment for the first year of trading and comment on the investment opportunity from the viewpoint of both the group and the manager concerned. Assume that economic depreciation is the same as accounting depreciation charged against income. Then B. Discuss the view that divisional measures such as residual income and economic value added fail to take account of liquidity and gearing as key aspects of performance, and suggest how liquidity and gearing could be monitored at divisional level within a company such as EI. With reference to the 5S model of lean principles, evaluate the extent to which the new warehouse manager's process will make the process in TT's warehouse lean. We'll answer the A part first, A1 and 2. This is third one, A1 and 2. So first we have to find out return on investment. That is what? ROI. What is return on investment? First you have to find for ROI opening capital investment, but before that, let's read the question about what all is given. Question 3, company background. Edward Incorporated EI is a multinational diversified business which operates on a divisional basis. The manager of each division of Edward Incorporated is responsible for capital investment choices within a capital budget set by the board of Edward Incorporated and is paid an annual bonus related to the average return on investment of the division for each accounting year. Edward Incorporated has a weighted average cost of capital WACC of 10%. TT division. TT is a division of Edward Incorporated which provides equipment to building trade. The manager of TT is currently assessing a project to open a new superstore to sell equipments. The project has an initial cost of $1 million which will last for 4 years, has no residual value, and has a positive NPV of 0.35 million. So the project has an initial cost of how much? 1 million. An NPV of 0.35 million. The revenue is 800. Cost of sales is 380. GP is 420. Expenses are wages 120, advertising cost 40, depreciation 140. That gives you profit before tax of 120, tax is 30, so net profit is 90. TT currently has an ROI of 15.8% based on average investment. So based on that, based on average investment, that is opening plus closing divided by 2. You can get the value of closing investment, and after you get the value of closing investment, you can calculate the ROI. The managing director of TT division is looking for investment to stabilize the financial performance of the division, which has been variable in recent years due to changing economic conditions and fluctuating sales demand. Warehouse. TT has 3 warehouses in the country in which it is based and which store all the equipments and products TT sells. Some are sold through third-party superstores, but TT also supplies its larger trade customers directly. The performance of one of the warehouses has deteriorated recently, and number of deliveries to trade customers have either had items missing or have included incorrect items, as staff have had problems locating the correct items. One of TT's largest trade customer has threatened to cancel its contract with TT if performance does not improve. A new warehouse manager has now been appointed, and he believes that the process for storing goods in the warehouse had been responsible for many of the problems. When inbound deliveries from TT suppliers were received, products were stored in the nearest available space, which could be on the warehouse floor if there was no space available on a shelving unit. The warehouse manager has now instructed staff that all products coming into the warehouse must be stored in their appropriate place on the shelves within 2 hours of a delivery being received, and none may be stored on the floor. So everything should be stored on the shelf and nothing on the floor. To assist this, the manager has introduced a policy in which all products should be stored in order of their alphabetical description, with products with names beginning with A being shelved nearest the warehouse entrance and those beginning with C furthest from it. So it's in alphabetical order it should be arranged, is what the manager is been saying. The manager has also implemented a policy in which RFID tags are applied to all products as they are received into the warehouse. The information from these tags automatically updates the warehouse inventory management system. Alongside this, the warehouse manager has begun carrying out spot check inventory counts to check the volume of a given product in the relevant shelf space agrees to the number of inventory management system required. First, calculate both ROI and RI for the first year of trading. First year of trading, the return on investment was 18.7 or something. From that, you will get the closing capital. So once you get the closing capital, you will get the average investment, and once you get the average, then you can get the ROI. So opening is 1 million. Closing is by working that indirect way, you will get 1 million into 3/4 of it. So that will give you average will be therefore ROI will be the profit before tax, which is 120, divided by average, that is 875, into 100. So that is going to be 13.7. ROI is done. Now RI, that is residual income. Profit before interest and tax is 120, we just saw. Interest cost on average investment, so our average investment is 875 and our WACC is 10%, so that will be 87,500. RI, residual income, is therefore 120 minus 87,500, 32,500. Okay, now you write the theory. The return on investment of the project in the first year is only 13.7%, which is lower than the current return on investment for TT of 15.8%. Therefore, the manager of TT is unlikely to invest because you are not getting more than your current to invest in this project. As it will reduce his division's return on investment in the short term, and therefore affect the amount of bonus which he will be paid for this year. However, the project has an overall positive NPV of $0.35 million and has a positive RI, that is residual income, in the first year of $32,500. Both of these measures mean that the investment would be suitable for the company overall, and therefore the board of directors of Edward Incorporated would want TT to invest in this project. Next we have is the second part, which is the economic value added part. EVA, that is economic value added. So EVA is equal to net operating, this is the formula, okay, profit after tax less capital charge. And what is capital charge? WACC into economic value of net assets. Okay, profit after tax as per question is how much? $90,000. You have to add back advertising cost, that will give you 40. Then net operating profit after tax will ultimately be 130. Value of net assets at the start of the period is how much? 1,000. At 10%, that is the WACC. 10% is how much? 100. Therefore, economic value added is how much? 130 minus 100 is 30. That is the EVA. Okay, that is the economic value added. As the economic value added investment is positive, the manager of TT should conclude that the investment will add to the wealth of the shareholders and therefore should be undertaken. The board should concur given the net present value. Residual income and economic value added are both measures of financial position. Both can be used to assess the value created by an organization during a period. And can be used to measure historical performance or to budget or forecast future performance Similarly, both are measures of success of the organization in achieving the overall financial objectives of the organization. Which are generally related to profits and return. Then what else can you write about economic value added, ROI and RI? Liquidity and gearing always measures your financial condition, right? So liquidity and gearing tells you how risky you are. Gearing are measures of financial condition sufficient liquidity and an appropriate level of financial gearing are necessary conditions for survival and financial security, but they do not contribute directly to overall financial objectives. Although liquidity and gearing can be measured retrospectively, that is from the behind, using historical data, they are more useful as forward looking measure. An organization needs to be satisfied that it will have adequate liquidity and suitable gearing in the future. Liquidity and gearing can be measured retrospectively. How can you measure it retrospectively? Means starting from the behind by considering the data of the past. Okay. However, there are several ways of measuring liquidity. Okay, historically, liquidity can be measured by quick ratio, current ratio, and cash cycle. Looking forward, liquidity is perhaps best measured by free cash or by means of a cash budget or cash flow forecast. Now this is a theory answer, so that much theory you have to write. You cannot say it's becoming too boring, it's just a lot of writing and all of that. It is theory and it needs to be written. Okay. Then operational gearing. Can be measured by contribution upon sales ratio. Which indicates the rate of change in contribution or gross profit. As a result of a given change in sales revenue. TT division has volatile annual sales revenue. What is volatile? highly changing. Either it's very high, it's very low, it's very volatile. It is not in that same sector. It has volatile annual sales revenue and operational gearing is therefore significant as a measure of change in profitability resulting from a change in revenue. Financial gearing, talking about that, because now we've already spoken about the operational gearing aspect. Now talking about the financial gearing. So financial gearing is not a useful measure. Why? Financial condition at divisional level unless specific amounts of long-term debt are attributable to the division. Financial gearing measures changes in after-tax profit in response to a change in operating profit what is usually measured at the level of the organization as a whole. Okay, so that's with operational gearing and financial gearing. So this liquidity and gearing is the B part of your answer. Wherein you have to discuss the view of divisional measures such as residual income and economic value added fail to take account of liquidity and gearing as key aspects of performance and suggest how liquidity and gearing could be monitored at divisional level within a company such as EI, that is economic value added. Next we have is with reference to the 5S model of lean principles, evaluate the extent to which the new warehouse manager process will make the processes in TT's warehouse lean. Okay, so you have to give a reference to the 5S model of lean principles to evaluate the extent to which the new manager's process will make the processes in TT's warehouse lean. So the 5S model. What are the 5 S's? Structurize, simplify, sanitize, standardize, and sustain. So these 5S models of lean principles need to be evaluated, and you have to evaluate it to the extent to which the new manager's process will make the process in TT's warehouse lean. Okay, so that is the C part. the 5 S's are, what are the 5 S's? Structurize, simplify, sanitize, standardize, and sustain. And we can apply this to the warehouse reorganization to evaluate the extent to which the new managers changes make the processes in TT's warehouse lean. Okay, so the first one is structurize. Structurize is also known as sort. Okay, so what can you write in that? This involves prioritizing the most important items so that they can be used easily in this case structurizing is likely to be arranging the products in a way which makes the outbound logistics process as efficient as possible. Okay, but the thing is that currently they're doing it alphabetically. But you tell me now, if I have a shop in an area where there is a school, if I'm alphabetically putting the products, that is not going to work. The reason being, kids are more interested in chocolates, lays, chips, whatever. I have to keep them at display. This alphabetical order of structurizing won't help there. So I have to change that. So although the new warehouse manager RFID makes finding products easier, arranging the products by alphabetical order won't actually help, so won't necessarily organize the warehouse in a way which is efficient as it could be. For example, the new process doesn't take account of how frequently products are used. It could be beneficial for frequently used products to be stored nearest the entrance. So if I know that the kids are going to frequently buy a particular product, I will store it nearest the entrance. There could also be practical issues in implementing the rules. For example, if the names of the number of products all start with the same initial letter, how will they be ordered then? In this respect, although the manager's new process appears to have considered some of the simplify aspects of Lin, they appear to have given less consideration to structurize. However, a lean process should apply all of the S principle. Okay, that is the first one, which is structurize or sort. Second one is simplify, or the other name you can give for simplify is or systemize. Okay, so what can you say about simplifying things? This principle involves organizing items so that they can be found easily. Okay. The new RFID system should help staff locate products more quickly and easily, and should therefore reduce the problems which staff have had in locating items, right? As such, the new process appears to demonstrate the systemized characteristics of lean. So simplify is done, structurize is done. Then you take sanitize. Sanitize is not literally spraying a sanitizer on it, but to keep it tidy and avoid clutter. So sanitize. This principle means to be tidy and to avoid clutter. The rule that all products must be stored on shelves rather than left on the warehouse floor specifically helps to keep the warehouse tidy. Okay, then next is what? Standardize. This principle involves setting standards to keep the working environment sorted and simplified. That means when you have a standard set, you have a goal set, you know what to exactly do in that. The rule that products must be stored in their appropriate place within 2 hours of a delivery being received provides a specific standard which warehouse staff need to adhere to, right? And which will help to keep the work environment tidy. Although the managers spot checks aren't in themselves a standard is also a control measure which will help to ensure the work environment remains sorted. And the last one, which is sustain, is also a part of self-discipline. This principle involves ensuring staff are motivated to continue to make improvements. Okay. That is the self-discipline part. An important aspect of this principle is the fact that staff should be motivated to continue looking for ways to improve performance. Although the manager's changes provide performance standards, they don't directly provide any incentive for staff to make improvements in future. Okay. And then last, how will it affect lean? The 5 S's. Overall, the manager's changes will help to make the warehouse processes leaner and help to reduce the problems which had threatened TT's relationship with a major customer. However, they do not appear to demonstrate all of the 5 S principles and therefore there is still scope for further improvements make the warehouse processes leaner in future. So that is the 5S principles. So that completes your entire mock. Okay. So now before we proceed further, we'll take a break of 5 minutes. Hello. Yeah, so let's continue. So now, instead of doing an additional mock, these are past exam questions that have come. So I'm on my dashboard. Okay, this is my thing. I've selected my subject from here, and these are the chapters, the theory that I showed you on day 1. But I think मैं नहीं दिखा सके आपको because the thing was down. Yeah. So आपको क्या करना है, आपके माई ACCA पेज पे लॉगिन करना है. लॉगिन करने के बाद यू हैव इट विल अपीयर गुड मॉर्निंग एंड वट एवर योर नेम इज़. उसके बाद लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पे माई क्वालिफिकेशंस करके एक ऑप्शन होगा. क्लिक ऑन माई क्वालिफिकेशंस. व्हेन यू क्लिक ऑन माई क्वालिफिकेशंस, आपको एक नया पेज ओपन होगा और वहाँ पे आपका क्वालिफिकेशन का एक सर्कल आएगा. 9 out of 12 पेपर्स completed, 10 out of 12, 11 out of 12, whatever, out of 13, sorry. Below that there will be a lot of options in bold. From that select ACCA Study Hub. When you select the ACCA Study Hub, this will appear. And यहाँ पे you will have options because we have Study Hub for all the subjects. You select APM because that's going to be your attempt. This page will open. You click on chapters. मैंने आपको तभी बोला था कि जाओ और सुबह का मॉर्निंग वाला लेक्चर देखो because this site was down. But today, by the grace of God, the site is working and this is study text. Chapter wise you have. Now if you feel I want to highlight a part, go to that. For example, operational planning, I want to highlight this. Select this. Highlight it. Okay. Then if I want to highlight SWOT analysis, highlight it. Then the second time I read the chapter, I just want to read the highlighted part. So I'll directly go to highlights. So these are my 2 highlights. After I'm done doing this, I can delete it. So remove highlight, remove highlight. Again, I go to table of contents. I can even mark the confidence level. Here I've marked the confidence level to be high. For potential difficulties, I have marked my confidence levels to be low. Here is how you can mark the confidence level. See, high, medium, low. I give it medium. Then again I go to table of contents. This will be marked as medium. So that is my confidence in that area. Then if I select a topic, I can also bookmark the session and I can also record a note on this section. For example, if I want to give any real life example, I can give it here and add. So next time in the table of contents, when I want to see what I have bookmarked, this is what I have bookmarked, that is the potential difficulties, I can read it here. So this is my bookmarked item and I have added notes to that. So this is my real life example to that on potential difficulties. These are my confidence levels, these are my notes which I can delete later, and these are my bookmarks again which I can delete later when I'm done. Okay, so these are my table of contents. Everything is there. Now at the end of the day, when you're bored studying and you want a little bit of change, what you can say, a change in activity. So that time you can go to flashcards. There'll be a flashcard. What is the meaning of performance? You think about the meaning of performance in your head and click on that. It's this. If you got it right, say yes. If you got it right partly, say partly. If you got it wrong, say no. Then what is control? Ensuring that an entity's activities conform to its plan and that its objectives are achieved. So if you got it right, say right. What is SWOT analysis? Strengths, weakness, opportunities and threats. So did you get it right? Yes. SBU, strategic business unit, part of an organization serving a distinct external market or niche within a market for goods or services. So like that, a nice revision will happen and it will be a change of time also. नाउ आफ्टर एवरी चैप्टर दैट यू डू, आप जब कौन सा भी चैप्टर करते हो, हमको अंडरस्टैंड करना है कि आपको ये चैप्टर कितना समझा है. तो वो कैसे अंडरस्टैंड करोगे? यू विल टेक अ क्विज. इफ़ यू फिनिश विथ चैप्टर 1, टेक अ क्विज. इफ़ यू हैव फिनिश्ड विथ chapter 2, take a quiz. Then if you're finished with chapter 3, take a quiz, like that. We know that exam में आपको quizzes नहीं है, MCQ नहीं है, but that will just give you an idea of आपको कितना quizzes आता है. That means आपको वो chapter कितना समझ में आया है. Then it's not just that, but you can also practice the big questions, and these were asked in the past examination. So if I want to answer a question here, say if I want to answer this health eating group, I'll start the practice. There's a timer that runs here. These are my requirements. And I'll read the question. The timer is on here. So when you practice the question here on this workspace, you also get an idea of how to do questions in a timed atmosphere. So you always have a pressure of time that, okay, this is a question of 15 marks. So I have to complete it in 28.5 minutes. So there's always this time pressure that is built on. So then you read the requirements, you read the question, and now I want to plan the answer. So I'll plan my response here. I'll write the answer of part A, then I'll give the answer, then I'll give the answer of part B, that is the critical success factors that they have asked us, and all of that. Now once I'm done with the answer, I'm still watching the time. Once I'm done with the answer, I'll confirm the answer. The moment I confirm the answer, I'll get a review of the real answer. So this should be your expected answer. So I can check my answer, your answer, with the expected answer. So critical success factors are product quality. Even if you don't want to solve the answer, but you just want to refer it like you're studying, you can do it from here. So you have critical success factors like product quality, supply quality, technical quality, external credibility, new product development, margin, etc. Then this is complete. You continue. You answered it in 1 minute 8 seconds. So then you go to practice other questions, the dashboard. So 1 of 75 questions are done. Then I want to go on Jensen-Levison web. So I'll start practice of Jensen-Levison web. Okay, so first I'll read the question. These are the appendix that is given. So evaluate the comments of the export division manager that the net profit margin used to appraise her own performance should be different from that used to appraise the performance of export division itself. That is 7 marks. Then recommend using appropriate calculations whether the manager of export division should receive her bonus for the year. Advise whether the use of EVA, that is economic value added, is an appropriate measure of performance of the two divisions. You're not required to perform an EVA calculation. These are the appendix. And then this is the question. Jensen-Levison Web manufactures tubes of acrylic paint for sale to artists and craft shops in K-Land and Sealand. JLW has 2 divisions, domestic division and export division, both based in K-Land. All costs are incurred in K-Land dollars. Domestic division is an investment center and sells only to customers in K-Land. Export division is a profit center and exports all its products to Sealand, where customers are invoiced in Sealand pounds, that is SL, at prices fixed at the start of the year. The objective of JLW is to maximize shareholder wealth. Capital expenditure at the beginning of the year ended 31 December 2006, the head office at JLW purchased new production machinery for export division for $KL 2.5 million which significantly increased the production efficiency of the division. Managers at domestic divisions were considering purchasing a small machine but decided to delay the purchase until the beginning of the following financial year on 30th June 2006. The dollar KL weakened by 15% against the pound SL, after which the exchange rate between the two currencies has remained unchanged. Current divisional performance. The managers of the two divisions are currently appraised on the performance of their own divisions and are awarded a large bonus if the net profit margin of their division exceeds 8% for the year. Extracts from the management accounts for the year ended 31 December 2006 for both divisions are given in Appendix 1. On being told that she would not be receiving a bonus for the financial year, the manager of export division has commented that she has had difficulty in understanding the bonus calculations for her division as it is not based on traceable profit, which would consider only items which relate directly to the divisions. She also does not believe it is appropriate that the net profit margin used to appraise her performance is the same as that which is used to evaluate the performance of export division itself. She is asked for a meeting with the directors to discuss this further. Basis of bonus award. JLW's directors intend to award divisional managers bonuses on the basis of net profit margin achieved in 2006 as planned, but have asked you as a performance management consultant for your advice on the comments of export division manager in advance of their meeting with her. One director has also suggested that in future, EVA, that is economic value added, may be a good way to evaluate and compare the performance of the two divisions. You are asked for your advice on this too, but you have been specifically asked not to attempt a calculation of EVA. So I want to plan my answer. Now regarding this part, if you see, advise whether the use of EVA, that is economic value added, is an appropriate measure of performance of the two divisions. You are not required to perform EVA calculation. First of all, you need to give EVA as a performance measure indicator. Then I will just write the main points of the answer. The answer is C. First I'll give an intro, and then will be EVA avoids distortion from estimates and financial policies. Then EVA encourages managers to take a long-term view. Then EVA takes into account the cost of capital. So this is what my answer consists of. Then I'll confirm. The moment I'll confirm, I'll get a sample answer. So I'll go to C part and see first EVA as a performance measure for export and domestic divisions. That is the intro. EVA avoids distortion from estimates and financial policies. I've written that. EVA takes into account the cost of capital. I've written that, and I've written one more additional point, that is EVA encourages managers to take a long-term view. So that is my answer in regarding to this. This is how you will check the answer. I hope all of this is useful to you. Today is our last day of APM revision revolution. That does not mean that we are not there to help you after this lecture. You can always write in the comments regarding any doubts that you guys have, and those doubts are going to be cleared by us. Okay. solve as much as questions as possible. The only tip that I would normally give my students is practice, practice, and practice. It's nothing like something else that I would want to give you all, because the more you practice, the more you have an idea of how the question is going to be. Having said that, this is a timed paper, so see, you understand in how many minutes you have done a particular part. So this timer has stopped because I checked my answer. So that is very important to know, because timed questions are very important. Solving questions is one part, and solving questions in a stipulated time is a different part altogether. So you need to concentrate on the aspect of time as well as giving the best answer possible. Okay. One more tip that I would want to give you guys is that on the day of the examination, when you're going through a question, if you feel that you don't know the answer of a particular sub question, or if you feel that this is something that I don't remember, I have forgotten, worrying about it and stressing about it is the last thing that you should do, because with stress you will not remember the answer. Instead, chill, relax, write the remaining paper. First, get yourself in a safer zone. Safer zone is above 50, and then think about that. So don't stress. Stressing will not give you an answer to that question. It will spoil the remaining paper. So the only tip I would want to give my students is that relax and solve as much as questions as possible. Practice, practice, practice. A lot of mocks, a lot of past papers, because all these questions that we have done 4 section B questions, all are from the past exam paper. So much practice we have done in the last 5 days. I want everybody to be 100% well versed with how an answer should be written in the examination. Okay. Apart from that, I don't think I've missed out on anything that should be addressed. And if you guys want an entire gist of how the course needs to be done, or how the things are to be done, please join classes at Lakshya. We teach very much in detail. This was just you can say a highlight of what we do in class. This was just, you can say, 2% of what we do, because we teach the entire syllabus like this, in this format, and we take details of everything. We do all questions related to all aspects of the syllabus, and at the end we do a lot of revision. If you really want to clear your paper in the first attempt, this is like the one-stop destination for all your needs. Please come to Lakshya, and then we can think about further. All the best to this paper, because I don't want you all to fail this paper. But for any next paper that you're giving or your friends are giving, please refer Lakshya to them. Thank you so much for attending the 5 days of Revision Revolution for APM, and I'll see you guys in the next quarter. Thank you so much.